Hello and welcome to a wonderful Wednesday at Crypto. Oh my God, I want to talk about some of the companies that are coming for the throne, the banking throne, that is. Let's dive right in. Bam! So many followers of the channel already know that I've been targeting a lot of focus on the stablecoin push, and that is because we just have some tremendous players. You have USDC Circle that went public and is deeply tied into Coinbase, obviously Coinbase being a major influencer in politics and the legal and regulatory rollout in the United States. They're fairly established. Now, on the flip side, you've got Tether. Tether is a massive contender and an OG in the stablecoin space, actually the biggest of the stablecoins from the get-go. Now, aside from that, we've got Stripe and Tempo. We have the Plasma chain taking Tether's product and blockchainizing it, basically making it automatic. But what we're entering now is this amazing race. It is stablecoin issuer versus stablecoin issuer. They're tech products underneath. We can think of this in the same relationship that AI has with blockchain itself. I think it was Ben Horowitz who just came out talking about how AI is the machine and blockchain is the network that it will operate on. Similarly, we have the asset issuance coming from Circle, coming from Tether, but then we have the networks that they operate on. So USDC is pushing outward, as is Plasma for USDT. And that brings me to this announcement, which is from the Coinbase developer platform. Big news, Coinbase and Cloudflare will be launching the X402 Foundation to establish X402 as the universal standard for AI-driven payments. Now, what the fuck does this mean? Let me unpack that for you. One important thing to note is that about 20% of the total internet operates on Cloudflare. A while back, and I thought this was really fly when it came out, but now let's see implementation and actual execution, right? We have Coinbase's release of X402, the Internet Native Payment Protocol. Fast, cheap, and AI-friendly payments over HTTP. Now, if you don't recognize HTTP, you just haven't been opening your eyes. But when you go to any website, you can see HTTPS is the precursor to all websites. Now, for a little more insight, let's just log into Cloudflare itself, right? What is HTTP? The Hypertext Transfer Protocol is used to load pages on the internet using hyperlinks. So the Hypertext Transfer Protocol is the foundation of the World Wide Web, and it is used to load web pages using hypertext links. HTTP is an application layer protocol designed to transfer information between network devices and runs on top of other layers of the network protocol stack. A typical flow over HTTP involves a client machine making a request to a server, which sends a response message. So the back and forth of the internet. We can see how fundamental this is to just engaging with the web, signing on to websites. Now, what is this X402 and exactly how does it interact? Well, it's a line of code that allows any website to interact with blockchains, specifically USDC in this case. And the whole concept is the on-chain payment gateway for AI and APIs. And of course, with AI, we're talking about scaling this up. We have agents that can reach out and sort of make these handshakes on the fly. Now we have no chargebacks or middlemen because we're talking about instant finality on the blockchain, built-in compliance and security, and I don't really love the KYC stuff, but real-time reporting dashboards. Let's keep in mind that blockchain's killer application at the end of the day is replacing the entire financial backend. In the same way, you see everyone wearing an Apple Watch or an Aura Ring so that they can take their biometrics and compile one overall health report. We are moving that way towards businesses. Revenues, expenses, all of that stuff can be monitored in real time. The same way you open up the Apple Health app and you see your heartbeat, you'll actually be able to see this in a fully on-chain business. We can take every component of a business's revenue and we can look at them in real time. And that is what's happening here. So AI agents accessing APIs. You can see it all in a really beautifully displayed web page that we have here at the Coinbase developer platform. It's in my sources as always. Let's just break it down very simply, right? The X402 versus a credit card versus PayPal versus Ethereum L1. We have, look at the average fees. I mean, just absolutely nuts, right? And in my opinion, this is one of the greatest grifts in our modern society, which is that digital payments bake in a 2.9% plus 30 cents or a 3% markup on all of our transactions. In order to use credit cards, we've just nascently inherited a 3% inflationary fee. Now look at this, 0.0001 cent. That's going to be consistent as an average fee. Settlement finality, under 2 seconds versus days versus, all right, instant versus 1 to 2 minutes. Chargebacks, no, yes, up to 120 days. But the goddamn thing speaks for itself. And look at the scalability. So this is just an exciting push forward to say, hey, look, we are taking the foundations of blockchain rails and we're baking it into the fundamental foundations of the internet. If you can't see how crypto is setting itself up for complete and total domination, I don't know what to tell you. Someone laughed at me the other day when I mentioned crypto and they said, oh, do you have NFTs? And I was like, bro, your identity is going to be on an NFT. Your housing license, all of your car deeds, all of these things are going to be stored on the blockchain for instant accessibility. Now, as we move on, the game is afoot. Crypto firm Tether eyes $500 billion valuation in major raise. This is absolutely nuts. I've talked a lot about Tether. I've talked a lot about how crypto is unlocking these micro companies with giant outputs. Now, $500 billion valuation. Let's just look at the largest banks. You've got JP Morgan Chase at 800 plus billion. And then below that 500 mark is nowhere in sight. We're looking at 100 plus billion off. So Tether sits here firmly at number fucking 2. Tether is number 2. Now they have the Plasma blockchain that's going to have the app, the neobanking app. It's going to onboard things. It's going to sort of act as the 402 layer of the internet. We can see this competition, this push and pull. But for fuck's sake, their market cap valuation is going to be the second highest financial provider on the planet. And that is batshit crazy. Now Tether's coming in here with about 250 employees. Sure, bigger than like sub 12 I've been talking about, but 250, I mean, that's pretty nice. I looked at the employee reach. They have a lot of people doing very regionally specific tasks. Let's hop over to JP Morgan. Looking at their 2024 numbers, we have about 317,233. Let's just hop to the 233. We could take that 317,000 and eliminate them because 233, well, that's just shy of the 250. That is the total sum of Tether. What we are looking at here is the future of businesses. Not only are they tiny, they scale tremendously. They take advantage of AI, which is the machine, which is the brain space. They take advantage of blockchain, which is the total functionality of all things finance that we've seen up until modern times. Of course, we're going to unlock this even farther. There was a great quote I saw from Anatoly, the founder of Solana, where he said the velocity of money will be as fast as physics will allow it. And that is the new model. Money wants to be in motion. It wants to be working. People with money are like, how can I put it to work? How can I make it active? Well, blockchain activates it at a 1,000x fold. I mean, we're talking about orders of magnitude differentials. Goddamn, not only is Tether sitting just under JP Morgan Chase, but look at their capital expenditure of 250 employees versus 317,233. If you can't see that the real flippening is the blockchain, maybe from stable payments, flipping the banks, well, I don't know what to tell you. And we are about to unleash Tempo, which is Stripe's digital payment chain. We're about to unleash Plasma, and Plasma's hugely impactful. My boys at USDAI just raised their cap to $500 million in lending capacity, and it filled nearly instantaneously. So the Plasma demand to put that capital to work is very, very real. And more DeFi protocols like USDAI will enable this hyperscaling world. What USDAI does is it hyperscales GPU data centers. And one of the most interesting things in talking to that team is that a lot of their lenders, the people that are scaling these GPUs, are like, we've actually never used blockchain. We've never used a stablecoin. What the hell is it? When they go through the process by the end, they're like, why the fuck would I ever use a bank? So it is happening. It is very real. The digital reality, which in my opinion, if we want to talk about the metaverse, it's going to be AI agents as the brains. It's going to be blockchain as the finance layer, as the truth layer. It's going to be AR, VR, and natural user interfaces. In a nutshell, we are looking at a completely digital analog to the world through which most of our engagements operate and maneuver. We don't do peer-to-peer transactions. transactions, largely because our friends and our communities are now globally expansive. And of course, we no longer have to deal with remittances. We no longer have to deal with Forex exchanges. All of this can be automated by smart contract, by protocolization. It is the protocols doing the functions, not the tokens themselves. Tokens are just a wrapper for some form of value. But all of this is to say, it's an extremely exciting year, 2025, as 2026 and 2027, which is when the assumption for AGI comes into reality, we can see that the future is morphing towards digital. It is strong. And let's be real, that also extends to the real world, to electricity itself. We've just seen Meta hire a head of energy because they know that they're going to need to get into the energy business to sustain the AI processors. So we will likely see a boon in the way energy is created, whether it be through fusion, fission, new forms of capture, as well as energy storage, as well as energy conveyances, balancing volatility on the grid between day and night, between peak and trough. So all of this is explosive. We're entering into a whole new era of sort of the human engagement, not only with ourselves, but with our digital counterparties, with energy itself, how we look at exploration and how we look at expansion. Obviously, the children born today will only know digital money, will live in an AI forward world, so it's pretty exciting. I hope this got you as jazzed as it got me, because it's a small bit of data that's unpacking a very big story. And the reality is, things like Tether, things like Tempo, things like USDC, they simply offer a better product in a competitive market. And the banks are always out there saying, hey man, free market competition is the best solution to pushing us forward. So to that I say, get in there, boys, compete with whatever you got, because it ain't much. That being said, the market's all over the place. Stay safe, don't over lever. Give me a like and a sub. It would mean the world to me, and I will see you tomorrow.